Tim Scott, you got to feel bad for this guy. Goes out, gets married in a.
Not married yet.
Oh, he's not married. He's engaged.
He's just engaged,
The
and
honeymoon's over, though.
I've got some bad news.
Hey, I'm gonna need that ring back because the cash I thought that was gonna come in from all those VP speaking engagements, not so much, lady friend. Back to Bible study and/or camp.
How much you want to bet?
For you, my
honestly,
girlfriend.
how much you want to bet that ring was like a loaner?
Oh yeah.
You know what? Try this out. What if I wanted to try it out until mid-July?
Yeah.
I just want to try that ring out for until mid-July. Here is Tim Scott. I mean, you're going to find his speech sort of funny, but want you to contemplate this for a moment. 1 dead, 2 critically injured at this rally. And then listen to how they are pretending none of that happened. There was only one thing that happened at that rally.
Are you ready for 4 more years of Donald Trump? Oh, me too. Listen, if you didn't believe in miracles before Saturday, you better be believing right now. Thank God Almighty that we live in a country that still believes in the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, the Alpha and the Omega. And our God still saves, he still delivers, and he still sets free. Because on Saturday, the devil came to Pennsylvania holding a rifle, but an American lion got back up on his feet and he roared. Oh yeah, he roared. Yeah, yes he did.
It's a little terrifying to watch him. Trump. But putting that aside, one of his fans was shot to death protecting his family. 2 of his other fans were critically injured or still in the hospital.
It's such a miracle.
I mean, what did God just say? Like, some sacrifices have to be made. Those guys. I mean, can you imagine what the response would be if and I know this is ridiculous because we do this all the time, but if Joe Biden had been nearly assassinated and, I don't know, Sheldon Whitehouse or who would be the equivalent of Tim Scott? I don't want to
Right.
insult anybody, but some U.S. senator got up there and talked about how God saved Joe Biden, and they're cheering at this moment of this assassination attempt, and no mention, no tempering of that sentiment of the guy who left, I don't know, was it 2 kids orphaned, a woman widowed, 2 people critically in the hospital, never mind the tens of thousands who were terrified.
They can't acknowledge it head on because then they would have to acknowledge this scourge of Republican support for unfettered access to weapons of war in this country. Right. If it were somebody who they could demonize, if it was a Muslim person, if it was a black person, if it was a trans person, they would have had their narrative set up, and you understand how the tone of this RNC would have been radically different. But because the guy was reportedly a Republican-leaning young white male who took his dad's gun, dad had a bunch of guns at his house, then they don't have anything to really offer. So it's almost as if they're moving on from it, which is absolutely insane. I also want to point out that like this talking about him as a lion. I've heard before that people have said that sometimes that's meant in really far right circles to evoke certain white supremacist imagery because it's of strength and blondness, and sometimes about like being like a regal, strong, pure white person. To refer Donald Trump as a lion is hilarious, but it's also just, I mean, I don't know, like it's like this king-like worship as if he's at the top of the animal kingdom in some way.
Yeah,
it's
Churchill
completely unhealthy.
And let's be clear, like this is a case of the lion. I mean, I would be terrified if somebody shot at me.
Yeah.
But if someone it grazed my ear physically, I'm going to be able to stand up and go like, okay, move on. You're not a lion because you did that.
Right.
We started talking about how fast it seems like people moved on to this. That's because like Joe Biden said, we can't let this be normalized in this country. No, this is normal in this country.
100%.
Like those shots are, I know people who were supposed to be at the Las Vegas concert that was the #1 shooting in this country's history, the Mandalay Bay shooting, and just whack, whack, whack straight out the window like that, a sniper from far away. Like this is normal.
Right.
The crazy thing is like when it interferes into other parts that we don't expect it to.
It's completely political malpractice, and we're going to get to this more, but the idea that the Democrats don't, call for gun control and create a wedge issue out of this. It's beyond me.
Well, they pulled all their ads about Trump. Biden pulled his ads.
You could pull all the Trump ads
Sure.
and then say, this is why we need gun control. Like send out everybody into the news the next day, make it about that. But the campaign is completely adrift. We'll talk more about this in a moment. But the Biden campaign right now has one job, and that is to maintain itself, period. Not to win, not to convince people, not to take advantage of opportunities that exist. Their one job right now is to make sure that they stay intact. And that is the idea 4 months out, that's what there have to be their one job is a scary prospect for everybody.
Yep.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.